Welcome, everyone. It is Friday. Thank goodness. Welcome to Community Fit. I'm James, and I'm your host for today, Reset and Restore. A little housekeeping at the top here. If you hear loud thuds, that's Bob. He's in the studio today, and I gave him he's over there. I gave him his little chew bone, and now he's just taking it everywhere and throwing it on the floor. So if you hear loud thuds, that's what that is. Bob. Today, we're going to work on joints. We're going to work on joints today. Why? Because a lot of us carry tension in joints, and often we think of it as a misuse of our body, that we have done something wrong. We blame it on a pillow. We blame it on the exercise we did the other day, whatever the case is. And whilst that may be true, what's also true is that we hold our stress, our anxiety, our overwhelm, our burnout in our body, and in specific, our joints, because the joints is where we move. So when we get overly activated, oftentimes, well, our body's natural response is to mobilize, meaning fight or flight. And when that doesn't feel available to us, we freeze. And that freeze mode is often what we call tension. So we're going to have an exploration of some body parts today. At best, it will make you feel better. It will resolve some of the overwhelm and stress fever you likely have going on. And at worst, it's a feel-good massage day. So let's go ahead and get started. Being on the floor works great. Being in a chair works great. You just decide where you're comfortable. And let's get started with a body scan. Once you're comfortable, eyes open, eyes closed, fully your decision. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but he's loud. It's your decision. Eyes opened, eyes closed. Take an inventory of your body. What do you notice? Any particular joints stand out as important? Toes, feet, ankles, knees, hips, hands, wrists, elbows, shoulders, neck, jaw, ribs, low spine, pelvis. What feels important today? And then, since we're at it, take an inventory of your cognitive state, your mental space. What feels important right now to be thinking about? Is your mind settled or is it racing? And then take an inventory of your emotional body. What's the vibe of the moment? Are you excited? Are you curious? Or something else? And then let's get started. If we were doing this one-on-one, this would be a very different session, because where I might hold tension or stress or discomfort in my body is likely different than where you hold it, or that other person that's watching, or the person sitting next to you. So if we were working one-on-one, this session that we're communally forming together would be different. And that is a very long-winded way of saying that this session is not specifically designed for you. So as we go through this, if something feels not important, this is normalizing and allowing you to kind of skip. I'm going to take this away for now, Bob. Actually, here. Bob's just not going to come on Fridays anymore. We would be normalizing, allowing you to skip over portions of the body because it might not be important for you to do your feet or your ankles. Maybe you need to spend more time in a shoulder. Maybe you need to spend more time in your neck. And if you find those areas that do feel really important, stay there. Stay there and be with that, explore that, create a relationship with that area of your body. I'm going to be taking this on a very generic tour And we're going to start with our hands. So pick your favorite hand and then allow the other hand to just sort of begin to touch it. And that can look a whole lot of different ways. You can kind of grab, you can caress, you can interlace and kind of touch. And just notice, how alive does that hand feel? Does it feel numb at all? Does it feel the same on the top of the hand as it does the palm of the hand? And then take a look over at the other hand. Just kind of touch it. Noticing any similarities and really any differences between right and left side. Now, before we move on with some explorations, let's go into somatic meditation for the hands. It's a felt sense meditation. So your hands can rest comfortably on a chair, palms up, palms down. They can be on your lap. You can hold them. It doesn't really matter. And I want you to sense into your hands, embody your hands. I'm starting real generic at the beginning. Now, often when we do that, we're almost like an outsider kind of looking at the hands or figuring out where our hands are, or just kind of recognizing, yep, I have hands. Here's the invitation. Imagine the hands you're looking at are like gloves. And the real you, your real hands, are inside of the gloves. Feel your hands as gloves. Just notice. Notice the right side, notice the left side. And maybe you even start to do some like micro movements. Just kind of opening and closing. And again, you can pick one side, other side, or you can do both sides. And you'll often miss some of this information, some of this experience, if you're moving too quickly, or if you're kind of doing something else, doing this. It's like carving out just a moment out of today to just be with any tension that comes up. Like as I do this, and I want to be really clear, I can open my hands all the way and close them all the way, right? So I'm not saying I cannot do that. But as I open, I get right about here and I can feel tension. It's almost like saran wrap inside of my skin that goes, oh, it's getting tugged a little bit. And then as I close my hands, I get to right about here, and I notice that in order to go from here to here, it feels pretty smooth. But to go more would require more contraction. There's more work to close to this. So rather than just opening and closing, I'm just going to explore those boundaries of like, okay, look at that. Like there's a little stretch and nothingness and then contraction. So I'm just moving millimeter by millimeter more into the stretch, more into the contraction. As you do this, you may start to notice that this action, your hands, your experience of these hands, is connected to an experience somewhere else in the body. I'm having it right now. Just see if you notice anything. Then I'll guide you through my experience. As I do this, what I notice is an extreme awareness of my left shoulder. Doesn't feel good, doesn't feel bad. I just kind of notice. And my attention wants to shift over to the left shoulder. It's like, oh, there is something about moving my hands this way that makes me more aware of my left shoulder. Again, if I moved quickly or wasn't allowing myself to notice that, I would miss it. Yours is probably not your left shoulder. It could be. Yours might be something else, or maybe it's nothing at that point, and that's fine too. Then go back to your favorite hand. We're just going to pick index finger. And we're going to do a gentle, it's like I'm trying to pull that index finger off of the hand. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm pulling at about a 2, maybe a 3. And then I'm just going to do a little twist. Once you feel like, yeah, that's enough on that finger, you can go to the next one. How do you know it's enough? Well, the 1 to 2 sensation probably goes down to a 0, or you just intuitively know like, that doesn't feel important anymore. Moving through your fingers. All the way through. Then taking the other hand, interlacing it. Now, this is so simple and also hard. I want your left hand, or the hand you did not work on just now, to be the engine driving this. What we're going to do is we're going to have, for me, my left hand is going to squeeze my right hand. Both hands are not squeezing each other. Right hand for me is receiving touch, which is so difficult because the hands are designed to touch more than to receive the touch. So as you go through, it's like almost advocating for that one hand to be the receiver and the other hand to be the practitioner. I'm just kind of massaging through that. Again, you don't need to be a massage therapist. You're just sort of generically going through that hand. Then both hands are going to kind of hold on, and then we're going to do just a little bit of a wrist mobilization, just a little bit of a wrist movement. Good. Then release and go back through, opening and closing. Maybe you want to do one hand and then the other, and notice any differences. What I notice is as I go through this, this left hand that has not received touch gets right about here where the tension is. This one can open up much more. And in turn, right here, it takes some effort. And not until here that it takes effort. So I've just increased my hand's capacity for easy, effortless movement. Now, go to the other side if it feels good, or continue to work on that. Wanted to start with the hands for a number of reasons. Most of us work at computers a whole lot. Moving on. Carpal tunnel, wrist issues. I hear about it in movement practices a lot. This helps. Also, it's not a necessarily activated, charged area for most of us. If I had started with the jaw, the neck, the hips, even the feet, definitely the spine, ribs to a degree, it would have been, we would have more likely ran into trauma, other arm, it being a whole lot, it bringing up activated energy for people, or just even pain and more tension. We're going to go to some of those places today, but this is sort of ideally for most of us, unless you've suffered surgery or a traumatic fall. I'm not saying activation can't be in the hands, it's just less likely. And then the squeeze. So if you're feeling like, yeah, this just feels like a good massage, like, yep, I'm noticing some benefits, this feels good. That is ideally what it should feel like as you go through. By no means are we advocating anywhere for it to be too much, too fast, too soon. It's just enough. So if we run into areas where you're like, yep, I need the work, but not right now, great. Skip over it and just note that. Then take another little inventory. As you notice the hand gloves again, what do you notice? For me, my hands are now exponentially warmer. I can now feel like the gloves all the way through instead of just the gloves here. taking a moment to take your inventory. That, as we've discovered over the last few weeks here and over the last few years, that is the practice. It's not the tools, it's the awareness of which tool to use and how did that tool make me feel. That's the practice. Now, let's go somewhere else that has the potential to be more activated, but for most of us holds a lot of stress. We're going to go right into the jaw. So I'm going to start by just kind of pushing my hands. It's like two walls kind of closing in on each other, pushing my hands in. Again, at a level 1 through 10, I'm at about a 3. Now I can hold that, or I can do this and almost like I'm going to pull my jaw down. You may notice a number of things here. You may notice like inner ears. You may notice sinuses. You may notice irritation. You may notice a lot of things. What I'm noticing, and likely if you get sensitive, you are too, doing this and this is like an invitation for me to change my posture. It's like I just kind of want to go here now. So I'm going to let myself go there. Maybe yours isn't there. Maybe you want to go here. Maybe you want to go here. Maybe you're just still discovering that. And that's fine. It's learning to listen to those subtle messages and invitations. This makes me want to kind of squish my cheeks a little bit, almost like funny face. And as I do this, I notice I'm becoming much more aware of myself, much more aware of the chair I'm sitting in. And so I'm going to take that as an invitation to kind of lean and allow the chair to support me more. Now, if it was just me, I would probably hang out there for a lot longer. But because we're in a communal class here, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go through here. If you're doing this right now and you're like, oh, the other one felt better, why are you doing this? Why are you not doing the other thing that felt really good? That's what I would be doing. Kind of moving through here with some therapeutic touch. Now, you can continue to do that, or we can go into guppy breath. Guppy breath is almost like you're gently, softly, slowly chewing air with your mouth. It can be big, it can be small, but what I invite you to do is sort of explore it in the way we were doing with the hands. Like, yep, I can open my mouth big and clamp it back down, right? Like I have that available to me. For us, though, it becomes more important is where does it start to feel like saran wrap being stretched, a rubber band approaching overstretch? Like where's that sensation? And can I denote it and like millimeter by millimeter, centimeter by centimeter, titrate a little bit bigger, a little bit more? We're going to do a handful if it feels good. As I do that, I'm going to open up and then I'm going to let my jaw, the word that comes to mind is like waggle. It's just like little wiggly motions there. You can do that or you don't have to. What do you notice there? Keep going. What I notice is as I do the jaw release, I feel my sits bones get a little wider, feel myself kind of settle into the support of the chair a little bit different, which is different than recognizing there is a chair, which this one did earlier. This is now, oh, I recognize there's a chair and I allow myself to sit deeper into the chair. Good. Bring your hands together, get them warmed up. We're going to take these hands and we're going to start to just lay our hands on the head, working our way into the neck. So I like to start here over my eyes, just sort of go here. Now we have given a lot of prompts in the last 20 minutes, things that you might notice in your body, postural movements, breathing things, lots of different options. I'm now not going to share my experience, not to pull it away from you, but as an invitation for you to start paying attention to your own experience. Where feels like the next place to go? For me, it's pretty clear that I can dig the heel of my palm sort of into my sinuses and do a little massage here. As I do that, I'm very aware that it would feel better for me to have my feet firmly planted on the ground. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to keep going. My hands have arrived kind of forehead hairline area, so I'm just going to stop there. I notice that my shoulders really want to come up. So I have an option here. I'm at sort of a crossroads, and I'm going to play. I'm going to pull my shoulders up, and that doesn't feel very good. So I'm just going to adjust where my hands are. Then I'm going to just let my hands kind of push down into my head so my shoulders can drop. Play around. What feels good to you? What are you learning? I'm going to move my hands to the back of my head, kind of low head, upper neck area. So as I do that, there's like a big inclination to kind of lean back. So I'm going to let that happen. My body automatically wants to go into a sway here. I've talked about it in classes before, and I'll talk about it again more. This action of swaying side to side is called the cerebellar sway. It's a very natural regulating thing for your body to do. It is similar but different to seaweed spine that we do a lot in class. This is slower. This has some of that sensation of like acknowledging where are the sticky areas. It's almost like a slow motion movement. As I do this, what I immediately notice is my breathing slows down and I feel like my heart and lungs sink. Now, you may not feel that, and that's fine. But what do you notice? You can take some fingers and massage through the neck a bit. Now, we covered this, I think, week 1 in Reset and Restore. We hold a lot of tension at what's called the AO joint, the atlas occipital joint. Top of the neck, bottom of the skull, right where everything fits. That's an area that all mammals tend to hold tension because it's like the hackles get raised when we get tense. So how do we work with that? Few ways. First, let's work with it from like a true nerve perspective. We're going to have our nose stay relatively still, and we're going to allow the eyes to look gently left, and then like a panoramic sweep to the right. Panoramic sweep, which is different than a blink switch or like staccato rush movement. It's like a very slow, wide, panoramic cinematography sweeping moment. Now, if that feels good, stay there. Or let your eyes softly focus on whatever's in front of you. Keep your eyes gently gazing on that and let your nose look left and right. Can you go slow enough to notice that elastic feeling anywhere? Maybe even pausing wherever that is, settling, and then proceeding. Now, you can do that, or as your nose looks right, your eyes look left, and vice versa, meeting in the middle, switching sides, noticing wherever that elastic rubber band feeling is. Like, I could twist my head here and make my eyes do that, but there is something right here that feels important to stop at. Big breath lets me know, oh, some regulation, then I can move on. Now, you can do those, or just as simple, drawing a very small circle with your nose on the wall in front of you. It's like maybe quarter-sized circle. And reverse. Good. From there, whether you're sitting, standing, wherever you're at, do a little twist. And rather than like the great big twist, same inspiration that we've been using, I'm going to twist, and right about here, I can feel the beginnings of some tension. So I'm going to hold, just breathe. I can feel for me, it's like my belly gets a little shaky here, like those, oh, there's something going on here. My left shoulder's getting a little twitchy again, and it's just so small, like you don't even see it likely. I feel it though. When you're ready, you can come back to middle and we'll do the other side. Few more breaths. And then come back. Going right back into our sway. I like to end explorations like this with Dr. Peter Levine's VOO breath, V-O-O-O-O, VOO. The inspiration being foghorn or deep belly breath. I'm going to demonstrate it once, and then we're going to do it together 3 times. So it sounds a lot like this. Voo. And then it will just be held as long as you can personally hold that breath. We have 3 of them together. Inhale. Voo. Last one. lastly, take an inventory. What has shifted in your body and your mind and the vibe of the moment? What one or two places felt really important? What practices felt important? What are you going to practice? What are you going to take with you? Again, I'm James, this was Reset and Restore, and we will see you next week for more Community Fit. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, James. That was a wonderful class that I needed today. Yes. The weeks fly by and it's like, how do we get so much done? How do we make it? But thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a fabulous weekend. Just wanted to, oh yes, I love is it VU or woo breathing? I didn't get that. Is it VU?
V as in Victor, O.
Yeah, I like that. It's very calming.
Yeah.
And just wanted to give a quick reminder, it is open enrollment season. So if you are looking to make a change with your health plan or want to just check what Western Health Advantage has to store, check with your HR department and, we'd be happy to have you. So, all right, everybody, if there aren't any questions. Oh, Kim wants Bob.
I know, I saw that.
Is he there? I think I need a little Bob today.
Bob, come here, baby. Come here. Come here. Come over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor baby's got a cone on his head for 2 weeks. Hi, Bob.
We got Bob right here.
All
Bob
right.
hates to be picked up and cuddled, so we put him down.
All right. Thanks, James. All right, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye.
Have a great one.